Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we're going to go through a discussion about Booktube. Around this time last year, Jess Owens actually put out a video of what do you want to see on Booktube, and she ended up asking her subscribers to comment all of the things that they would like to see more of on Booktube. And I just thought it was a really interesting discussion to kind of see, have a little bit of a pulse check on not only your subscribers but just the platform of YouTube and see what people are interested in and not interested in. So that's where this idea came from. I also asked you guys to give me some ideas of what you would like to see on Booktube, what content you enjoy watching. And I thought I would also have a discussion on what I enjoy watching, what I enjoy making, the difference between the two, if there are differences. And then I want to go into what you guys want to see. And then there are a couple of things that weren't mentioned anywhere that I would like to talk about because I would like to see more of them on Booktube. I'm not saying that I will do this. But maybe I will. We'll talk about all of that in this video. The first thing I'll talk about is what I like to see on Booktube, and then we will go into what you guys like to see on Booktube, and we do have some overlap. The first thing I'm going to mention is stats videos. I recently posted a stats video, so you guys have access to that, but one of the stat videos that I watch every year, I look forward to every year on Booktube is Books and Lala. The amount of time that she takes creating these massive piles of books behind her and the stack of books that she has every year of like all the books that she's read, and then she'll organize them in different ways. She also looks at like the different patterns within the titles that she has, what percent of the books that she didn't like, liked, and loved. She has like all these different things that you get to look at by looking at these huge stacks of books, and sometimes like she'll have graphics and things too, showing you like the different colored covers that she has, her favorite covers, new authors. Like there's just so many things that she looks at, and that is the stat video that I look forward to every year. And I wish that more people would do books, or not books, but videos like that, because I just find them fascinating. Another one that I'll just quickly mention that I do like to watch is anticipated release videos. I love to see what's coming out in the next couple of months. I love it when people do quarterly, and some people even break it down monthly. And then there are others that will do specific genre videos, so only fantasy books or only mystery thrillers. I know Leandra did that last year at the end of the year, the mystery books that were coming out within the next few months. And so I don't know, I like to see it's like Christmas morning. You get to see, or I should say it's better compared to like, you know, when you were younger and you would get like the catalogs, I'm aging myself a little bit, but you get the catalogs for like Toys R Us and you could see all the different toys that you could potentially get, and you get to look through it and you'd circle things that you want your parents to consider. Maybe I was the only one that did that, but that's what it reminds me of, those anticipated releases lists. So I do like those. The next type of video that I do like to see on Booktube, and you guys agreed with me, or at least one of you agreed with me in your comments, recommendations videos. I like specific recommendations videos. So whether or not you're going to give me a list of weird books that you would recommend, or there was recently a list of the scariest books that you've ever read, or like that you would recommend to people, or like if you like this, try this type of videos. I like book recommendation videos so I can, well, just find more books that I am interested in. Next is, I didn't really know how to word this. I said unpopular opinion videos. It can be a variety of styles that people have done this in. One of the people I was thinking about whenever I wrote this down was Elliot Brooks. I know recently she did a video on Booktube darlings that she really didn't enjoy. I like videos where people take books that the masses have typically enjoyed and they tell me why they didn't. Leandra did this with the Chestnut Spring series. I would even put in this category like videos when people talk about DNFing series, like beloved series, or even not beloved series, but just not continuing on, because that can be an unpopular opinion to begin with, just not finishing a book. So any video that is slightly not going with the masses, I'll say that I enjoy those, just because I like to hear people's opinions. Even if it's a book that I've loved, hearing why someone didn't enjoy it, even if I disagree, is just interesting. So the next time I read the book, or if I just want to assess my enjoyment of the story, if it was a book that I was just kind of in the middle with, I just think it's interesting to have somebody else's viewpoint on it. And the last thing that I'll mention for videos that I enjoy watching, and this is a recent development for me is themed vlogs. I have really enjoyed being able to, I always kind of put them on the background whenever I'm like cleaning a room or whatever. I'll put one of my Booktube friends on in the background and listen to their cozy vlogs. I know Kirsten from the Reading Nymph has done a lot of this within the past 6 months or so, and I've really enjoyed the vlogs that have specific themes. This is something too that you guys mentioned in your comments that you enjoyed as well. Books and Lala was mentioned again with her werewolf vlog, her bunny vlog, and she had another one. It wasn't dragons. Dinosaurs? Did she have a dinosaur one? And then someone else mentioned Cassidy, although I'm not sure if it was Books with Cassidy. I'll have to go look. And if I can find it, I'll link it down in the description. But there's a booktuber who does a series where, or a themed vlog where she will have to read from a series or DNF the series. So like if it's a series that has 5 books, she's on book 3, she'll have to pick up book 4, or she has to DNF the series, and she vlogs her experience with that, which I think that's a really cool concept. So I like vlogs in the sense that you're getting someone's reaction as they're reading it. It's not a review of a book or a recap or wrap up of a book. It's someone's reactions as they're reading it, which I find funny and fun to learn about what people are thinking about as they're reading it. I also find it beneficial to me for when I've done vlogs for me to go back and listen to my thoughts at certain points, because you know, when you finish a book, if I'm 6 months when I've put a book down, or even a month past when I put a book down, I might not recall exactly what I was thinking as I was reading it. I just have lingering feelings. And so having the vlogging experience, I think, is a very fun part of Booktube. Moving on to the things that you guys like to see on Booktube. And of course, I've already mentioned a couple of things. I'm not going to be reading the comments, but I will link that community post if you guys want to go and see anyone's specific comment. There were a lot of repeated things, and multiple people, or actually most of the people who answered multiple things. And so what I did was just compile a list of all of the items that were talked about, and if there were any repeats, I'm not going to mention them more than once. So the first thing I will talk about is TBR games and challenges. And I really enjoy these too. I have been contemplating doing my own TBR game, and it's kind of been inspired by Bucket Listathon when I did the game board, because I did really have a fun time with that. And I do enjoy watching someone play their TBR game. It's especially fun if their TBR game decides not to be nice to them that particular month. And so I 100% agree. Keep the TBR games coming. And then as far as challenges go, I do enjoy watching these. I do not enjoy baking challenge videos because they always have a way to go awry. Like my series that I did where I talked about, I read until I got a 5-star. That challenge was absolutely horrible. I had to do 2 hour-long vlogs before I got a 5-star read. But I do appreciate seeing them, and I will probably continue to do them, just not in any great quantity because they are quite stressful for me to film. The next thing that was mentioned from you guys is collaborations. Seeing Battle of the Booktuber was specifically mentioned, and thank you, Jess, for mentioning Battle of the Booktubers. I have had a lot of fun with that series this year, and I hope to continue having fun with it with the championship round in July. And yeah, I enjoy watching collaborations as well. I think that it's really fun to see. I know that like Rainy Blue Reads has done the Booktuber taste test where people will give her recommendations, 3 recommendations, one that they hate, one that they loved, and then one that they haven't read but they think Rainy will like. And I really enjoyed that. The 5-star exchange that Nell has done has been really cool. I know that Jess has a collaboration that is in the works. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but definitely go and check Jess out because yeah, collaborations are very fun. It's also very fun for the participants from like a booktuber side of things to be able to interact with people in a fun way with books. And it is, I will say, I do like making collabs as far as like I've enjoyed my time with Battle of the Booktubers, but it is definitely time consuming on the booktubers part. So for those of you who are just consumers of Booktube, if you haven't created it and you do enjoy watching collaborations, definitely go and give your Booktuber friends, the people that you are supporting, a round of applause, because they do take a lot of time and effort to get them done, but I think that they're well worth it. Next is reviews and recaps, and then I think specifically series reviews were mentioned, and I find this fascinating. Actually, the person who mentioned this, I think it was Yelena, and I think, unless there was someone else who also commented about the same thing, but you talked about this content being evergreen content, so content that people might not watch automatically because maybe they haven't read the book or they haven't read the series, but that they'll come back to it. And so it's content that will stay with your channel and on your channel for years to come, and still be a good way for you to bring people to your channel and, let them know that you're here on this side of the internet or whatever. And I find that fascinating, because I have been considering doing series recaps and more reviews, more analytical videos on my channel. And yeah, it'll be a really interesting experiment to see if that's the case, because it does make sense that a lot of people may not watch the video at first if they haven't read the video. I know that the specific book reviews that I've done, I did a video on my first NetGalley arc with the H.D. Perry Scholar in the Last Fairy Door, and it definitely got less views, but I will say that people who commented on that video and who actually had read the book, it was a really fun experience to have, to be able to talk to people in the comments. And so yeah, it'll be an interesting experiment to see if those videos do keep getting views in years to come. We also had tier ranking videos mentioned, which I do love a good tier ranking. I do my own personal, the new releases ranking videos, but I do like it when people make the little graphic and they put all of their, I don't know, you could do the tier ranking tropes, or tier ranking your worst books of the year or your best books of the year. I do think it's very fun to see people figure out which, especially if they give themselves a challenge of I have to have a certain number of books in this category, I have to have a certain number of books in this category. I think it's very fun to see people kind of juggle which books they would put above another. I'll add on to that one that I didn't mention before. I have recently enjoyed the bracket videos where people will pit books against each other. I think those are very fun. Another one that was mentioned was chats about important topics, which I do think that this is a really important thing for us to have on Booktube. And I don't know that I see it a ton, but I will say, full disclosure, I don't think that I look for those videos as often as I look for content specifically about a book or maybe a TBR. But I do know that whenever an important conversation has come up about either authors or maybe topics within a book that are covered, things like that, I do really appreciate when people take the time. Those videos are always really, for me anyway, I think that they are very stressful to make, because you want to make sure that you're presenting the material in a way that's respectful to audiences and authors and things like that. But you also want to make sure you get the content correct and that you've done your research. And research in general, if you're especially on a really important topic, it's hard. You want to make sure that your sources are accurate and as up to date as they possibly can be. And so I so appreciate any booktubers who are willing to take on the task of giving important information to the masses, because it is a very daunting task. And then the last thing that you guys brought up that I just find so interesting, and I'm definitely going to steal this idea from you all. I had 2 people in the comments mention that they wanted some sort of a book budget or book spending information videos throughout the year, that they would like to see more of that on Booktube. One person in particular was talking about how not a lot of people will talk about, they'll do book hauls, but they won't talk about how much money they actually spent on the books. And one of the stats that I kept for 2024 was actually how much money the library saved me, because so many of my reads do come from the library. And so I did think that I might throughout the year start keeping track of that monthly. How much money did my library save me in the month of January? How many books did I buy? And how much money did that cost me in the month of January? And then someone else, I think it was Jess, mentioned that it would be interesting to be able to compare the average price of a paperback in the United States versus New Zealand and Australia and, the UK, where and like where are books the cheapest, where are books the most expensive. It's very interesting. And so yeah, I do think that would be really fun content to talk about and to come up with and to watch. So that will definitely be something that I have kind of in the back of my head. I recently saw, and I wish I would have kept the post, I saw somebody on Instagram post a reel about, and they just held up a stack of books, and it was the stack of books that you can buy in America for some amount of money, I don't remember. And then they did the same amount of money in the UK, the same amount of money in Australia, the same amount of money, like they did it around the world. So it's really funny that you mentioned that on the comments, because I have seen just little smatterings of that throughout the interwebs and my social media accounts. And so I do think that would be really fun to add that and make that more of a presence on Booktube. Before we move on to the things that I would like to see, I mean, obviously I've commented on some of yours that I would enjoy seeing more of that on Booktube as well, but I do have 3 more options to give you guys that I would like to see more of on Booktube. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about the videos that I have enjoyed making, and one of those is recommendations videos. I have really enjoyed and kind of leaned into recommendations videos. I love to give specific recommendations, although I haven't done that trend where you ask your subscribers for really specific recommendations and I would give you books that would fit those. I haven't done that yet, but I do like doing themed recommendation videos. I think they're very fun. And I also think that it helps me kind of keep fresh on the books that I've read in the past and still recommending them, because sometimes, you know, you just kind of forget, like, about a really great book that you read 5 years ago. I do also really enjoy making anticipated releases videos because of the reasons that I mentioned earlier, so I won't go on and on about those. I do enjoy TBR videos. They're very easy to make, and that's also kind of why I would like to maybe put in a game, because it would give a little bit of random chance. I don't think I want to do my entire TBR via a game, but doing a little bit of it I think would be kind of fun. And I do think that they're kind of like present movies as well, like Christmas morning videos, where I am seeing like what books I'm going to get to read in the month. I think they're very fun. And then something new that I have found that I do enjoy are discussion videos. Hence why we are doing this discussion video. I like to talk. You guys know that I like to talk. And so having a video that I can discuss different topics, whether or not it's Booktube, which is what we're doing here, or I did a video recently on a Reddit list, which that led to some really interesting conversations in the comments about the differences between where Reddit's fantasy themes are and like where the subscribers, or not subscribers of Reddit, but like the people who comment on Reddit, what type of authors they typically follow versus people on Booktube. And then I also did a weird book video where it was kind of a discussion video where I looked at a whole bunch of different people's ratings on Goodreads and just compared them and discussed with you my thoughts on a 1-star rating, a 3-star rating, and a 5-star rating of a weird book. And I don't know, I like having videos that are kind of free form, that I can really just dig into some things that I find interesting. I don't know if those are things that you guys find interesting, but I like it. So, and then the last thing that I do enjoy making is lists of any sort, whether or not it's a favorites list, a worst of the year list. I do like and I already kind of mentioned this, that if you like this, try this lists. And yeah, I'm a checklist type of person, so any type of list that I can make you, I will have fun doing it. Okay, the last thing I have for you guys are the 3 things that I would like to see more on Booktube. And I might try and incorporate some of these on my channel, but I'm really just kind of shouting out because I know that there are a lot of Booktubers who watch my channel and are very supportive, and so I'm trying to give you guys ideas as well. Maybe you'll do this too. The first thing I'll say is I would like to see more library hauls. I love book haul videos. I love to see what you guys are purchasing, the books that you found at, whether or not it's a full price book or if you're finding them at half price bookstores. I think that's great, but I would like to also see library book hauls, because I know a lot of you bring home these stacks of books from the library, and I would like to see what you guys have on your shelves. I think it's very interesting, especially for readathons. I plan on doing this for Get a Clue in February, and I just I think it's going to be really fun to see this huge stack of library books that are all my potential reads for that month. So I would like to see more of that. Next is weird book content. I really need to, because I have enjoyed so many weird books in the past. I would like to dive into that a little bit in 2025. And so many of you have given me weird book recommendations, and I have them on my list. I do plan on getting to them. I need to maybe that'll be one of my themed vlogs that I do this year, is reading some weird books. But I would like to see other people's version of that as well, because I know not everyone's weird is for you. And so having more of that content on Booktube just gives me and you guys more of a chance to find something weird that does work for you. So I would like to see more of that. And then lastly, I think this is probably a challenge, and I understand why people don't do it, but Nell Diamond actually gave me this idea. So hello, Nell. Nell does a video series where she compares the book to the adaptation. And I really like this concept, and I do like it with adaptations as well, but I would almost like to see it with books. To compare a book head to head, I think would be really fun to see. So if you hear from a whole bunch of people that such and such book is like such and such book, to read those books in tandem, or maybe not in tandem, but like close to each other, and then talk about the pros and cons of each, the differences in each. So for instance, and this would be something that I would do a little bit from now because I've read both of these books recently, but I always tell people that if you liked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, you will probably like The Book of Doors. And so I almost want to put that to the test. If I read these close together, what could I talk about? What are their similarities? What are their differences? I would like to do a video where I could put these books head to head and talk about those different things. And I think that there are a lot of books out there that you could do this with. I recently was having a discussion with Tiffany from Towering TBR in the comments about Cascade Failure and how it was compared to Becky Chambers, which I do not agree with. But if I had read Cascade Failure along with a Becky Chambers, it would be really fun to discuss the differences between their writing styles, the plot lines, their character development, their world building. I just think if you read them close to each other, or even at the same time, that you would be able to discuss so much more of the differences and the similarities in books. And I think I would like to see that content. So if you guys know of anyone who does that frequently, let me know. Okay, I have been talking forever at the camera. I know I have over 30 minutes because my camera shut off on me and I had to start another recording, and I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long, so I'm hoping I can cut some stuff. Thank you guys so much for indulging my discussion of Booktube, and I hope that you found something that maybe if you are a Booktuber that you can incorporate into your channel. If you're not a Booktuber, if you're just a subscriber, I hope that I represented your thoughts and wants well. And if not, if you do want to put a comment down below of something that you would like to see more of on Booktube, I would love to have that. If you are not feeling chatty today, but you still want to let me know that you are here, just leave me a little chat bubble emoji in the comments down below so I know that you guys are with me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!